okay to ask your friends for help when you need it, but it's not okay to send them 100 Facebook invites to Candy Crush. Candy Crush Saga is a matching puzzle video game released by King and is considered one of Facebook's most successful apps to date. It has over 100 levels, filled with sugary music and bright visuals. A lucid dream for candy heads around the globe. Hi, I'm Adrian, and whether you're a cake bombing expert or late to the adventure, we've got 107 facts about Candy Crush. So, are you ready for this? Divine. Let's get started. Fact number 1. Candy Crush Saga originated on Facebook when it was released on April 12, 2012. It then made its way over to mobile smartphone devices on November 12, 2012. The original game, Candy Crush, is a browser-based game that ended up becoming a slight variation for its successor. Number 2. King is led by Riccardo Zacconi, who served in that role since co-founding the company in 2003. Gerard Florin is the current chairman of the board. He took over from Melvin Morris when he stepped down in November 2014. Number 3. Prior to founding King, Zacconi and Toby Rowland worked together on udate.com, a site created by Melvin Morris. Morris sold the site for $150 million in 2003. Number 4. Originally headquartered in Sweden, King nearly went bankrupt before a Christmas Eve cash infusion in 2003. The company raised $43 million in 2005 by selling a large stake to Apex. The company finished the year with a profit for the first time and has been profitable each year since. Number 5. Roland, who has served as co-CEO, departed the company in 2008 and sold his stake back to the company for $3 million in 2011. Angel investor and former board member Klaus Hommels sold his similar stake at the same time. Number 6. In an interview with gaming guru Tom Palm revealed that King went with candy because, quote, "It was a bright idea that my team had. Everyone has a fondness for candy from a very early age, and it's very accessible to people because it's an inexpensive treat. It's also an international thing. Flavors are different in different countries, but the colors are universal and make for a very strong visual component." Number 7. On March 26, 2014, King completed its initial public offering. Priced at $22.50 a share, the middle of its projected price range, the IPO valued the company at $7.8 billion. About $500 million was raised through the sale of 22.2 million shares. Of that, 15.3 million shares came from the company and the rest of Apex Ventures and other stakeholders. It was the largest ever IPO for a mobile social gaming company in the US, narrowly eclipsing Zynga's 2011 offering. Number 8. Gameplay basically consists of switching adjacent candies to form rows of 3 or more of the same color, which are then cleared from the board. Different special candies can be formed by matching a combination of 4 or 5 in a certain formation, such as a striped candy, which clears either an entire row or column. Number 9. Special candies can also be matched together, producing varying effects. For example, matching a color bomb with a striped candy turns all of the candies its color into striped candies, which are immediately detonated. A striped and a wrapped candy, if mixed, turns into a big striped candy, clearing 3 adjacent rows or columns. Number 10. Other special candies which appear on boards for free can be purchased from the in-game store or one from the Candy Crush booster wheel. These include jellyfish and jelly clearing boards, which clear 3 pieces from the board at random, the coconut wheel on ingredient dropping boards, which changes 3 candies in a row into striped candies, and lucky candy and recipe boards, which when matched, change to one of the types of pieces the player needs to clear the objective. Number 11. Other pieces known as blockers appear on boards to add to the challenge. Icing, also called meringues, can't be moved and can only be removed by matching next to it. Licorice locks cage off single pieces of candy to prevent them from use. Chocolate pieces will multiply if not cleared. Licorice swirls can't be removed with special candies. Candy bombs will explode and end the level early if they're not cleared. Multi-layered icing requires multiple matches to remove. Chocolate spawners will produce chocolate pieces at all times. Marmalade guards special candies from use, and cake bombs can clear the entire board once cleared. Number 12. The player can also purchase various boosters to attempt to win levels more easily or extend play after a lost level. Lollipop hammers clear a single piece from the board. Extra moves can be purchased if running out of moves at the end of the game. Freeze switch allows players to switch to pieces that don't possibly match. Sweet teeth can clear out blockers and jelly. Bomb coolers to add onto candy bomb timers if the timer runs out, and the bubblegum troll that stops chocolate spawners from spawning chocolate from its sides. And these lovely boosters decrease my frustration. Number 13. At certain points, primarily at the start of new episodes, users must purchase or receive a request from at least 3 friends before they may access the next set of levels. Boosters to make the levels easier can be bought using in-app purchases. Number 14. While the game includes freemium content, 97.7% of those playing the game do so for free, while only 2.3% pay. Number Number 15. Remember when we said that you either had to purchase or receive a request from 3 friends? Well, occasionally the game will allow the player to move on for free if the player hasn't been able to unlock the next area. Number 16. If the game is not linked with the player's Facebook account, a new level can be unlocked by playing a mystery quest, a random previous level with a higher point threshold for winning. 3 mystery quests must be completed before the next episode's unlocked, and a player can only complete 1 mystery quest in a single 24-hour period. So unless you're willing to wait, you better find Facebook friends. Number 17. King.com's first game was Bubble Saga, which had a lot of visual similarities to Candy Crush. After the big success, King started to shift more towards cross-platform games. As Sebastian Knudsen, Chief Creative Officer at King, explained, that's when we rebuilt and moved to mobile. We invested in how to make games work cross-platform. Number 18. Some of the things King improved on the game was the voice. The first iteration had more of a humorous French accent, but the players hated it. Knudsen says, so we changed it to a more classic voice. The current voice works much better. Divine. Number 19. Still, there were some things that Candy Crush did that have not been seen in any other King game. Back in December, King launched its first major extension of Candy Crush Saga. Any player who makes it past level 50 can access the new Dream World area by tapping Otis the Owl on the game map. It was like a Christmas gift for our players, Knudsen says. The majority of players are stuck at certain levels. Depending on where they are, they might feel frustrated. With Dream World, you can replay levels you've already beat and get rewarded with more content. Number 20. King.com, the site responsible for Candy Crush, is based in Stockholm, Sweden. Because King is making several smaller, albeit similar games, the development teams are very small. They're actually using a methodology called Scrum. Scrum is part of the Agile movement. Agile is a response to the failure of the dominant software development project management paradigms, including Waterfall, and borrows many principles from lean manufacturing. Number 21. Fan input plays a big part at King. There are people in the development teams who listen to the comments on Facebook so they can address any problems with the game. So comment away. Number 22. With a design team so small and a game so large, the dev teams need to pump out content fast. The dev team made an episode each week for Candy Crush on Facebook. An episode is 15 new levels that all pertain to a theme. Number 23. So it's no surprise to anyone that the way to get ahead in Candy Crush is to buy upgrades and extra turns. These purchases can be as little as 99 cents, but in 2014, all those purchases added up to $1.3 billion. A little goes a long way. Number 24. The little girl featured in the game is named Tiffy Toffee. Sweet little Tiffy was found in a candy bag and was brought up by Mr. Toffee in his candy store. She likes to explore through the chocolate mountains and set off on magical adventures. Number 25. Mr. Toffee is a lanky redhead featured in the promotions of Candy Crush. He's the owner of the candy store. The magical day when Mr. Toffee found Tiffy was the best day of his life, and since then he's dedicated much of his time to teaching Tiffy about the Candy Kingdom. Number 26. Yeti is Tiffy's best friend in the Candy Kingdom and is by her side through all of her adventures. He's definitely the coolest guy in the Candy Town, so laid back and practically horizontal. Number 27. No Candy Kingdom would be complete without a cheeky, troublesome troll. Over the Easter Bunny Hills, lurking under the Bubblegum Bridge, you'll find the naughty Bubblegum Troll. Number 28. South of the Chocolate Mountains lies the Lemonade Lake, home to our friendly dragon. The Candy Kingdom dragon is the exception to the rule because he's happy, helpful, and doesn't breathe fire. It's not that he doesn't want to, it's just that he can't. Living in the Lemonade Lake means that he's constantly drinking delicious, sugary pop, so he's full of fizz rather than fire. Number 29. There are many levels and locations in the Candy Kingdom. There's Candy Town, the Chocolate Mountains, the Lemonade Lake, Lollipop Forest, and so much more. None of this, of course, is to be confused with the other Candy Kingdom, run by Adventure Time's own Bonnabelle Bubblegum, ruler of the OG Candy Kingdom, since Adventure Time premiered in 2010. Number 30. There are both reality and Dream World episodes in Candy Crush. What differs is the title cards for the Dream World episodes have a nighttime filter on them. Number 31. The most recent episode was released on August 3, 2016, and is called Kooky Kingdom. Number 32. Some things that people have picked up on is the difficulty curve. Some levels are just harder than others. If the game becomes harder and harder forever, it'll become unplayable, Knudsen says. The test of that is making it for the players who complete the game. The majority of players at the end of game have never paid. We never want to design a level that's unbeatable or that you would have to pay to complete. That's not our goal. Finding the mixture of pleasure and pain is the goal behind every level design. Number 33. Everyone's aware of the life system in the game. When you run out of lives, you're forced out of the game, so to speak. A lot of players like that you can't play forever, Knudsen says. It gives you an actual break, which is good long term because you don't get tired of the game. It gives you a natural pause. Number 34. So how is Candy Crush so addicting? The topic's been brought up many times before, and has been featured in numerous amounts of journals. Basically, the game rewards you after completing a simple task. These accomplishments are experienced as mini rewards in our brains, releasing the neurochemical dopamine and tapping into the same neurocircuitry involved in addiction, reinforcing our actions. Despite its reputation as a pleasure chemical, dopamine also plays a crucial role in learning, cementing and training us to continue performing our behaviors. Number 35. This same process was brought out brilliantly in a South Park episode that talks about the ins and outs of freemium games through naturalism, genetics, and, other stuff. It was surprisingly well done given the source material. Number 36. So it would seem that Candy Crush players are a special type of consumer in that they don't go for upsells. A study from the University of Chicago observed millions of Candy Crush users and found that people who buy the in-game currency don't fall into the upsell system. It so happens that people in Candy Crush don't buy based on any logic or linear process, but instead they're pretty irrational with their purchases. Number 37. The Economist thought it would be interesting to introduce non-linear pricing and see how that affected which users bought gold bars and when. Over 2 months, they and King systematically offered various discounts to over 14 million players. Deep discounts like a 70% lower cost per unit failed to produce higher profits or more than marginally great sales volume. In fact, some of the data suggested that people who would have bought small packs of gold may have decided not to because the discounting big packs made the small ones look like a bad deal. Number 38. So King makes money through in-app purchases, but one would expect King to run ads on the game as well. However, Palm explained that Candy Crush was making enough revenue on in-app purchases to the point where it no longer required to run advertisements. Sweet. Number 39. When asked about the music and its catchiness, Palm discussed, with game development, it's very important to balance a symphony of many different expert areas. Music, sound effects, programming, and design. It all has to come together, and no part of it can stick out too much. If the music is too prominent, you'll get tired of it. Number 40. Did you ever wonder who does the voiceover work for the game? Well, keep wondering. Palm explained that they placed an internet audition for the voice and changed it. Several people submitted voices and one was chosen. Unfortunately, the company can't or won't reveal the name of the voice actor. Number 41. So apparently the best time to crush candies is between the hours of 6 to 9 p.m. At least that's the most popular time to be crushing candies. The best day? Sunday apparently. Number 42. You would think that a simple app wouldn't cause too much controversy, but you'd be wrong. In 2014, King actually tried to trademark the word candy. In defense of this ludicrous action, Zacconi stated, "At its simplest, our policy is to protect our IP and also to respect the IP of others. We believe in a thriving game development community and believe that good game developers, both small and large, have every right to protect the hard work they do and the games they create." Of course, the company faced heavy scrutiny for this and the trademark was dropped soon after. Number 43. As if that wasn't enough, Candy Crush has also been accused of cloning an indie game. The mobile giant tried to prevent Banner Saga from being made by the indie dev company Stoic, because the title of the game included the word saga. Geez, Candy Crush, who knew you could be so touchy about a company using the same words? It's not like companies are trying to make clones of your game. Number 44. Turns out King has been accused of copying other people's games all along. Candy Swipe was a match 3 Bejeweled style game made in 2010 by Albert Ransom. Of course, Candy Crush came out in 2012, but the similar names don't stop there. The game was accused of stealing assets from Candy Swipe, like similar candies and a sweet combo jingle. Candy Swipe wrote an open letter to Candy Crush regarding the matter. Number 45. To combat all this drama surrounding Candy Crush, a group of indie devs called Candy Jam have taken it upon themselves to try and publish games that include the word candy and saga in the title, as a way to stick it to King and other big app developers. Number 46. Back in the heyday of 2013, Candy Crush was making an astonishing $850,000 a day based off its in-app purchases. Number 47. So it turns out there are more girl gamers than boy gamers when it comes to apps. Yes, 69% of the users of Candy Crush are women, leaving the other 39% to be men. That still leaves 1% unaccounted for. Well, maybe there are sentient candy people playing Candy Crush, or more likely cats. Number 48. So you know those in-app purchases, and also how Candy Crush made almost $1 million a day? Yeah, that could have something to do with a 14-year-old spending $4,300 on extra turns and power-ups within the game. Jeez, and I go into cold sweat over spending less than $1 on the game. Number 49. We all know that gaming addiction can be lethal and a very real thing, but those are usually reserved for hardcore games that require hundreds of hours of commitment. So imagine my surprise when I found out there was a Candy Crush rehab center in the UK. I know, sounds crazy, right? It was a crazy thing because it was a hoax started by a UK online magazine. Still, it might be a good idea. Number 50. If you add up the playtime of all the users that have ever played the game, the total would be over 100,000 years. Number 51. After being out for about a year, the game reached 500 million downloads on mobile in 2013, beating out everyone's expectations expectations, even the game developers themselves. Number 52. Candy Crush has reached players all over the world and in every country, even the most desolate ones. It's reported out of the 50 million monthly active users, a very small percentage of them have played the game in Antarctica. Number 53. While Candy Crush has boasted to be Facebook's #1 app for the longest time, today it sits at number 4 on the list according to app data. The apps beating it right now are Spotify and YouTube. Number 54. Right now, King.com has 10 games available to play. There's Alphabeti Saga, Bubble Witch 2, Rubby Dubby Saga, and many more. Number 55. Zacconi was 56 in The Guardian's 100 People in 2013 and named the poster boy for the European gaming industry for the creation of King.com. Number 56. On February 23, 2016, King was acquired by Activision Blizzard for $5.9 billion. Number 57. In January 2014, game developer Matthew Cox accused King of ripping off his game Scamper Ghost, saying King's Pack-A-Void was a clone of it. According to Cox, he was in talks with King about licensing Scamper Ghost, but when the deal fell through, the company released the game Pack-A-Void. Cox said Epic Shadows, the developer of Pack-A-Void, told him that King approached them to clone the game very quickly. King removed the game from its website but denied the cloning allegations, stating that they were removing the game for the avoidance of doubt. Number 58. By the first quarter of 2012, King had 30 million unique users. Users jumped to 408 million by the end of 2013. Sales increased from a little over 62 million in 2011 to 1.88 billion in 2013. Number 59. According to review aggregator website Metacritic, the game received an average review score of 79 out of 100, indicating generally positive reviews. However, the user scores are a 2.8 out of 10, which doesn't look good for the candy-themed game. Number 60. When Stephen Colbert heard about the King acquisition, he had to jump on board with the idea, so he got his buddy Liam Neeson and the two of them put on a Candy Crush movie during his show. By the end, Liam bestows upon Stephen the fabled lollipop hammer. Number 61. Want even more dated celebrity plugs? The game was briefly featured in Psy's Gentleman music video. Number 62. Candy Crush is enjoyed worldwide, but some enjoy it more than others. The game's actually most popular in Hong Kong. As of 2016, there were 19,023,174 Candy Crush Saga and Candy Crush Soda Saga downloads combined in Hong Kong, across all products including iPhone, iPad, Android, and Facebook. Number 63. It only makes sense that celebrities play the game too, you know, like normal people. Rashida Jones tweeted her love of the game back in 2013, along with Jesse Tyler Ferguson and Danica Patrick. Number 64. With popularity comes merch. Many sites promote Candy Crush products, including Redbubble, which features t-shirts and even socks flaunting the game's creative design. Number 65. There are those who would even marry the game. Well, not really, though that would be a great fact. Instead, an Etsy user by the name of Clay Faree made a custom Candy Crush wedding cake topper. It's still available for the low price of $180. Number 66. Candy Crush has an official YouTube channel where they post new videos on the current King games like Jelly Saga and Candy Crush Soda Saga. Number 67. In February 2016, Primwave teamed up with Candy Crush Jelly for a premiere party celebrating both the release of Candy Crush Jelly and to celebrate the pre-Grammy show. Number 68. On January 22nd, 2016, King unveiled their next installment in the Candy Crush saga, Candy Crush Jelly Saga, which features the Jelly Queen, the mascot for this new installment. Number 69. Do you like laughing at this game as much as I do? Well, Smosh Gaming teamed up with the Honest Trailers over at Screen Junkies to give an honest trailer for Candy Crush. In the video, they go over all of the glaring problems and criticism the game's received. Number 70. Smosh and Screen Junkies are not the only popular YouTubers to take a crack at the popular gaming giant. Popular YouTuber Nigahiga made an official fan trailer for his own Candy Crush movie. The only problem I have with this one is that Liam Neeson isn't in it. Number 71. Candy Crush has wasted no time invading other apps. What started on Facebook has now spread to Snapchat. The Jellylicious filter was featured in January 2016. Number 72. Stephen Colbert isn't the only late-night talk host that had a skit on Candy Crush. In 2013, Jimmy Fallon worked with Criminal Minds star Mandy Patinkin on how to crush it at Candy Crush. The two worked together to get past the most difficult levels of the game. Can they help me with my Candy Crush levels? Number 73. So there's a lot of dispute over what's the hardest level in Candy Crush. There are many lists as well, but there's one level that's included in a lot of them, and that's level 70. The combination of many blockers and teleports makes it challenging for even the very experienced Candy Crushers to finish with a hardcore delicious. Number 74. Candy Crush has broken out of the digital world and is now invading the real world in the form of Candy Crush Puzzle Magazine. The magazine features spot the difference puzzles and maze puzzles. Number 75. To celebrate the release of the magazine, King is touring Candy Crush around Tesco stores promoting the magazine. Number 76. 6. In July 2013, it was estimated that Candy Crush Saga at the time had about 6.7 million active users and earned revenue of $633,000 per day in the US section of the iOS App Store alone. Number 77. In November 2013, the game had been installed 500 million times across Facebook, iOS, and Android devices. According to Business Insider, Candy Crush Saga is the most downloaded iOS app for 2013. Number 78. In December 2013, King entered the Japanese market with a series of television commercials in Japan, and by December 4th, it had become the 23rd most downloaded game in Japan on Android devices and number 1 most downloaded from the App Store. Number 79. In May 2014, a sequel titled Candy Crush Soda Saga was soft launched by King, with a similar design but new gameplay dynamics, such as a soda bottle piece that can shift gravity. Number 80. Every once in a while, the divine phrase will be said by a different voice. Divine. This Easter egg is extremely rare, as it only has 0.1% chance of happening. Number 81. King currently has 1,400 employees across all the offices, which include London, Asia, and Stockholm. They're one of the fastest growing game companies due to the popularity of mobile gaming. Number 82. King even has some educational outreach programs with schools in Europe. The company recruits with London Business School, Imperial College, Cambridge, Oxford, University of Barcelona, and Stockholm University. Number 83. Other industries are beginning to look at King's success and trying to replicate it for their own industry. US startup Freeform Development is one of the companies trying to make it happen. Freeform's mission statement is to help artists learn from the lucrative mobile gaming business, where games like Clash of Clans and Candy Crush Saga are making billions from in-app purchases. Number 84. Candy Crush has also been a part of critical theory. Dr. Alfie Brown wrote a book called Enjoying It: Candy Crush and Capitalism. Using a range of case studies from critical theory to Candy Crush, Gangnam Style to Game of Thrones, and Football Manager to Hieronymus Bosch, this book argues that we need to rethink how we spend our time for enjoyment. Number 85. When designing a level, artists use Adobe Illustrator to create the background and characters. As of their 2000th level, King has about 75 characters that are used throughout the game. Number 86. So people might be wondering why Activision Blizzard acquired King. While Activision Blizzard is at the forefront of PC and console gaming, the company has yet to make its mark in the world of mobile gaming. The acquisition of King Digital, which has excelled in mobile gaming, with more than 474 million monthly active users, gives Activision a strong mobile portfolio. However, being the leader in gaming comes with a hefty price tag. Number 87. Once the acquisition is finalized, King Digital will operate as an independent unit within Activision Blizzard. It'll continue to be led by Chief Executive Officer Riccardo Zacconi, who said in a statement he believed that, quote, will position us very well for the next phase of our company's evolution and will bring clear benefits to our players and employees. The deal is a sweet one for Zacconi and his team, who have faced pressure from investors in the past year to prove the company is more than just a one-hit wonder. Number 88. Another common complaint that people have is that freemium games seem to be more addicting than regular video games. Just Google Candy Crush addiction and you can find tons of stories about people spending hundreds, even thousands of dollars on Candy Crush. Number 89. Candy Crush has even resulted in hospitalization. A 29-year-old California man tore a tendon in his thumb after binging on a freemium mobile game for 6 to 8 weeks, according to JAMA International Medicine Journal. The guy was so committed to getting those striped combos that he didn't even notice the ache, despite the fact that a ruptured tendon is usually very painful. In fact, the doctors who treated the man said this might have demonstrated how video games can numb people's sense of pain. Number 90. It would seem like the acquisition is going well for Activision already. Activision's total adjusted revenue, which excludes deferred revenue and related costs, rose to $1.57 billion in the second quarter. Number 91. While Activision has seen some growth, there's been a slight dip in monthly Candy Crush users since the deal. Activision said King Digital's monthly active users declined to 409 million due to seasonal trends and launch timing. King's expected to release one more non-Candy Crush game towards the end of the year. Number 92. The game Battlefield Hardline makes a small nod to Candy Crush. At one point in the game, the player character tells their partner to toss over their phone and asks if there's anything important on it. The partner responds by saying that candy game. I mean, what other candy game could be more important than Candy Crush, right? Number 93. In an announcement, Microsoft said they will be including Candy Crush in the Windows 10 update. Clearly, Microsoft and King are looking to you two and thinking, yeah, maybe they were onto something when they forced every iPhone user to download their newest album. Number 94. During E3 2014, Vice, the Brooklyn-based media company, did something unusual by having a Candy Crush-themed photo shoot that featured models sporting all kinds of candy. Other photos parodied the sweet and divine captions with lush and super. Number 95. A lot of the shenanigans that King had been involved in 2014, with the legal battle with Banner Saga and the drop in popularity with social media, was reflected in their stocks. After introducing its stock at $22.50, it never got above that mark, instead slowly retreating throughout the day until it was down to $19, a 15.5% fall. Number 96. Of course, a giant like Candy Crush is not without its copycats. While King would like to scream and shout about those copycat games, they're not going away so easily. So let's take a look at some. There's one involving selling cubes of juice, one with baked goods, and some that are just straight up bejeweled. Number 97. King is always looking for new talent and hires for all of their offices. They live by the motto of seriously playful. They pride themselves on fun and passion within the range of games. Number 98. In its journey to the top, Candy Crush even dethroned the previous #1 social game company, Zynga, back in 2013. Number 99. Science just proved that Candy Crush is harder than it looks. A computer scientist from Australia took it upon himself to prove that Candy Crush belongs to a class of computational problems called NP-hard. Basically, this means that even though verifying a solution to the problem is simple, a high score is achieved in a limited number of moves, finding the solution takes exponentially longer for each additional possible step, different matches. Number 100. Palm even shared some tips and tricks during a 2013 interview. Something that one of my colleagues taught me early on was to strategize to match 5 candies in a row at an earlier stage in the game. If you get the color bomb, it can really help if you're stuck on a level like 65. Number 101. So obviously if you have a food-related game, you're going to eventually make the candy involved in said game. For a limited time, there was a Candy Crush brand candy that people could buy. Number 102. Mobile games are largely used for killing time. In the US, 58% of people playing Candy Crush were waiting for someone, while the number was higher in the UK with 61%. Number 103. Speaking of waiting, UK politician Nigel Mills issued a public apology after being caught playing Candy Crush Saga during a Work and Pensions Committee hearing. Pictures of the Prime Minister playing the game on his tablet were published by the Sun newspaper. Mills initially admitted to the paper playing the game, telling reporters that he probably had a game or two, and he would try not to do it again. Number 104. People are so obsessed with this app, they change the date on their phones just to get more lives. Number 105. For those people who do the actual waiting, beware. By not letting you play, the game actually becomes even more rewarding when you're let back into the Candy Kingdom. Researchers from Harvard and the University of British Columbia have demonstrated this effect, called hedonic adaptation, in a study using real-life candy bars. Participants were divided into 2 groups. One was told to abstain from eating chocolate for a week, while the other was given pounds of the stuff and told to go wild. After 1 week, the participants were brought back into the lab and given a piece of chocolate to savor. The results? Those who have been deprived rated the chocolate as significantly more pleasurable than those who have been able to eat it freely. Number 106. What's also not surprising is that people can't stop talking about it. Candy Crush has 14.5 million tweets dedicated to it. That's enough to fill 45,000 novels. Number 107. As of 2013, there have been 150,951,846,112 unique games. Since 2016, that number has most likely doubled. So we just crushed 107 facts on Candy Crush. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, let us know by hitting that like button. If you want us to cover another video game, let us know in the comments down below. Subscribe for more 107 facts here on the Leaderboard.